Welcome to you, Dr. Kalpana. Please take over your talk.
Good evening, and thank you very much, ma'am, for the kind introduction. Though I am dealing more of the pediatric diseases, today I am here for the geriatric eye care, and I should thank Dr. Sri Prakash, on whose behalf today I am here. So let's see what the geriatric eye care has to offer. So let us look at the extent of the problem and also the impact of the eye conditions on vision, especially in the elderly population, what we can do about, and can we do much more than what we have currently. So we all know that between the normal vision and the total blindness, there is something called low vision. The WHO recognizes this vast gray area, and it is estimated that more than 28 million people are in need of low vision care in India. So if we give an appropriate low visual device to these people, they can carry out the essential activities of life day to day. So what are the facts about the sight loss? So we see that 50% of the living with irreversible sight loss, and out of which only 4% of the visual impaired people are totally blind, and visual impairment is said to increase with age, especially in women, and 80% of them are visually impaired or above the age of 65 years. And most important, that this 88% of the population do not have much access to the hospital eye care services, though they are suffering from various age-related disorders such as cataract and age-related macular degeneration. So let's look at what are the causes for the visual loss in the elderly. I am sure all of us are aware of various ocular conditions, especially the ophthalmology deals with majority of the geriatric conditions. So the various causes could be, like for visual loss, it could be sudden in onset, especially the retinal vascular conditions, which brings about occlusion of either the vessels, the veins or the arteries, or it could be the age-related degeneration, a wet form, or neurological conditions in association with the general neurological visual field loss, or the most common condition which each and every one of us are aware, the gradual one, the cataract, glaucoma, and dry form of age-related macular degeneration. As per the National Program for the Control of Blindness survey, so the 10th plan was supposed to reduce the prevalence of blindness from 0.8% by 2007. Still, the prevalence of blindness is 1% as per the survey. So the major causes of blindness as listed here, we see that the major chunk goes to cataract, 62.6%, and then follows the refractive error, corneal blindness, glaucoma, and other surgical problems, and also the posterior segment disorder, especially the diabetic retinopathy, retinal detachment, and others. And of course, the childhood blindness also contributes. So this is what a normal vision, or the normal person we experience the normal vision looks like. So coming to the person with cataract, so most of us would have experienced, or most of them would have already undergone surgery. So the vision completely gets impaired and it is blurred, though is able to see for quite far distance. So it is a slow, painless decrease of vision, or they may experience difficulty in driving, so glare, and occasionally sometimes they may see multiple images when they close even one eye. So these are the various forms of cataract. So the picture is not very obvious here. So depending upon the lenticular opacities, which area it gets affected, so we classify that according to the situation, whether it is nuclear cataract, cortical cataract, whether it is mature, immature, or hypermature. So what do we have to offer? So as soon as the patient gets a cataract, so what are the main indications for the treatment? So everybody thinks that cataract, once they experience cataract, that surgery is the main option. Yes, of course, surgery is the main indication, main option, but only thing is one has to remember that it is not just for the visual purpose. So it is also for the Other indications, especially patients are also having associated diabetic retinopathy or uveitis, that is inflammation of the eye. So there also we may have to remove the cataract pretty early. So one question may be asked, like how early I should undergo the cataract surgery. So cataract surgery is not just for the sake of vision. So if there are associated conditions like diabetic retinopathy, where we need to evaluate so what is present inside the eye and also to give treatment, we may indicate a early cataract surgery. So this is one of the picture what you can see like phacoemulsification, where the central part of the lens is removed with a phaco probe, and by lysing the lens and replacing the lens with a artificial intraocular lens. So what does the nation is doing? Under the National Program of Prevention of Blindness, so the general awareness has been created to the public and the symptoms and signs have been explained, and government hospitals and even NGOs are serving towards the free facilities for the people. So the next comes a condition known as glaucoma. So what this aqueous outflow has got to do with glaucoma? You can see the red arrow which is starting from behind, where the fluid starts secreting in the back of the eye and it sweeps across the lens and then goes in front of the lens and then escapes the eye. This fluid channel sometimes get blocked, and we call this as either a primary open angle glaucoma or a secondary open angle glaucoma. So this is one of the picture, like you have seen that earlier, how the vision would be clear. But a patient with advanced glaucoma, you can see just a central tunnel of vision and the entire periphery has been knocked out. So should we wait till then? No. So you have to always have a regular checkup for the eye condition, and most of the time the symptoms are not experienced by the patient, and it is usually the doctor who picks up this problem. So often they don't experience the visual loss or the pain. So patient can have sometimes a gradual deterioration for near vision, and once there is advanced field loss, they may start bumping into things because of the field defect. So this is the picture showing that intraocular pressure will have its impact on the optic nerve. So you can see that the pressure will start damaging the nerves, and you can see that there is enlargement of the cup, and this enlargement keeps on increasing. That means there is a permanent damage to the optic nerve fibers. So the same picture again, so you can see that this is how we look at inside the eye. So, and then there is enlargement of the cup. Corresponding to this damage, the field loss also occurs. So initially this is not experienced by the patient themselves. Only when we check with automated perimetry, so that we can detect the earliest nerve fiber loss. So initially it may be a small loss or small defect in the visual field. We call this as scotomas. As the thing it enlarges, as the nerve fiber damage increases, so it can extend and it can become an arcuate scotoma, double arcuate scotomas, and here you can see that in the advanced thing, so only a small field of vision or a temporal island of vision is left, and the rest of the field loss is there. So what do we do for this? So apart from the regular screening, yes, there are medications which can prevent this death, permanent loss. So there are various medications under various headings. So like you can have beta blockers, adrenergic agents, and carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. All these are prescribed by your attending physician or attending doctor, so depending upon the clinical situation. So surgery is also the option at a later stage. So here artificial window is created for the fluid to escape. So this condition is known as trabeculectomy. Either in the form of surgery or in the form of laser, it could be done. So even the national program, so there is awareness for this glaucoma. So early detection is better, and also appropriate treatment can take care of the further visual loss. Next, coming to the most common ocular problem, especially in age, is the macular degeneration. So this is the legal problem, especially abroad or even in India. So where we see that there is a silent, painless loss of vision, especially you see that patient is able to see the surroundings, but the central vision is not able to see. So this is known as central scotoma. You can see here, this is the eye section, so where the disc is the vessels are normal, but in the center something is happening. There are degenerative changes, there is accumulation of the abnormal material. So there are two forms called dry and wet. So wet is more dangerous because it causes the visual loss very abruptly. So these are the photographs of various patients. We see this accumulation of this in the central area. So these are generally known as drusen. And the wet form, as I was talking, so it is called exudative age-related macular degeneration, or it's also known as choroidal neovascular membrane. New vessels growing underneath the layers of the retina are responsible for this exudation. So this is again a photograph corresponding to that situation. So where you can see that there is a scan also has been done, which is corresponding to this area. It's known as ocular coherence tomography, which gives a live section of the tissues. So, and we can see that there is fluid accumulation and loss of the normal contour and the new blood vessels which start growing in the choroidal layer. So do we have any medical therapy? So for this, yes, though there are antioxidant supplements, cholesterol lowering agent, green leafy vegetable, but basically one has to recognize the signs and symptoms. They experience metamorphopsia, that is change or alteration in the central vision initially. At that stage only the patient has to report, where it can be recognized and can be treated. So majority of these conditions require drugs known as anti-VEGF agent, which have come luckily after 2005. So which can not only prevent the progression of the disease, it can also restore the vision. So the sudden cause of visual loss, like retinal vein occlusions, you can see here it is a very scary picture inside the eye. Here you see that everything looks like a tomato ketchup, so where the optic nerve and other things cannot be appreciated. Patient comes to you with, you normally report as immediate loss of vision, sudden, so you have slept and got up and you see that there is a visual loss in the morning. So this is, the entire area is affected, we call this as central vascular occlusion, or it could be just one of the branch can be affected, the rest of the retina is normal, so we call this as branch vascular occlusion. So what do we do about this? So there are various causes listed, but most of the time the geriatric problems, like it is basically because of diabetes, hypertension and atherosclerosis. So the general physician taking care of your system, so the general health is good, so all this can be prevented. So what do we have to do for this? Do nothing. That means there are certain situations where, like in this central retinal occlusion, so the entire channel is blocked, so we can only mop up this area to some extent with the drugs available, but we cannot re-establish the circulation. Whatever the damage has set in has set in. But here it is partly involved, so this mopping up of this area is much better, and we can do that with drugs known as anti-VEGF or vascular endothelial growth factor, such as Avastin, Lucentis, steroids, and of course lasers also. Only problem here is, in the geriatric point of view, what I am saying is all these drugs are available, but they are pretty much expensive, and if the insurance is not covered for most of these drugs, so then yes, if you are unprepared, your medical insurance is not there, then it is very difficult to get the treatment. Laser option is also there, but it again has its own advantage and disadvantages.
Dr. Kalpana, you have 2 minutes more.
Yeah. So this is the retinal artery occlusion. So similarly to the vascular occlusions, we can also have a arterial occlusion which can also present in the very rapid form. And if you have a sudden visual loss, so eye stroke we call this, you have to see your doctor immediately. So there are various investigations can be carried out by the doctor to see what should be done. The most common thing, like what everybody experiences, is the diabetic problems in the day-to-day situation. You see, this diabetic retinopathy also has been listed in National Program of Control of Blindness. So one starts seeing the defective vision either because of the central involvement or because of the new vessels which grows inside the eye. So this is the central area is affected because of the leakage of the abnormal vessels causing fluid and also the exudates to collect, or it could be because of the new blood vessels. As you see here that there are new blood vessels which are growing inside the eye which can bleed anytime and can produce sudden visual loss. So what do we do for this? So we are doing a pan-retinal photocoagulation, that is sparing your central area. We are trying to laser the entire retina, that is trying to kill the unwanted cells and improving the oxygenation to the central area and thereby doing the therapy. So here also, like to mop the central area, we also have the drugs known as anti-VEGF, that is VEGF, such as Avastin, Macugen and Lucentis. So Avastin is more widely used, but Lucentis is the FDC approved drug, which is very, very expensive. So the next condition like hemianopia or stroke is also very common in the elderly. So what we can do for all these conditions? So starting from our home, so we have to do certain adaptations, especially at home, or we have to promote the eye examination, promote the functional vision assessment and change of glasses as and when required, and of course treating the cause like removing the cataract and also exercise certain programs. So the doctor does this checkup, like improvement of visual acuity is brought about if there is with glasses, so you can give prescribed glasses, or else if the visual acuity is not improved, so we have to identify what are the causes, whether there are any treatable causes or it's not treatable causes. So how do we go about? If vision problem is identified, so especially we have to do referral services and also look into who can handle this situation. So especially there are 6 key factors for improvement of sight. So we need to involve people, so NGOs and also national organization. And of course certain situations what we can do at home, like improve lighting or improve lighting at your office and organization. Use color and contrast, avoid clutter, reduce glare and make appliances accessible. So these are one of the picture, like you can see that improve the general lighting condition and also use the bright colors. So this is also one of the way, like
Dr. Kalpana, your time is up.
Okay ma'am, thank you.
I think Dr. Kalpana has given you a big volume into a small area of presentation, but it's really a subject
so
of...
almost I'm coming to an end. So the only thing is we need to act with empathy for these patients, and of course we have to also have a word on eye donation, so which everyone has to donate our eyes by pledging it, and a happy old man. So everyone is responsible. Sarvendriyani Netram Pradhanam. So we have to have to take care of along with the general health for the eye. Thank you.
The topic is open for discussion, please. Any questions? Any questions, please? So thank you, Dr. Kalpana, for that vivid presentation of the details of how the cause for blindness, that is the national programs coming in for prevention of blindness, glaucoma, trachoma, are some of the major areas which the Government of India and the Government of Karnataka have taken up in the Regional Institute of Ophthalmology, to which she serves. So the Minto Ophthalmic Hospital is the hospital attached to Bangalore Medical College Research Hospital, but it also has a Regional Institute of Ophthalmology which is catering to 2 states, and it looks into the various other aspects of implementation of the national programs.
Hello.
So
One question, please.
Yes.
One question.
yeah, please.
So you talked about glaucoma. whether it is useful if they donate their eyes.
You mean you want to donate the eye, so if the patient has
Patient
got-
having glaucoma.
There's no problem, sir. Like, say, actually, by donating the eye, we are only using the black part of the eye, that is the cornea. So cornea transplantation is usually done, but depending upon the cell count, so that will be used either for optical purpose or for the therapeutic purpose. So there's no contraindication for donation.
So it tells you that you should go for regular visits to check your eyes and see if any of these things have set in before you reach to the stage where it becomes beyond a cure stage for you all. But I think a yearly checkup will always give you the revealing of any progress that goes on, and to be happy with the eyesight being a normal one even at age which we say is beyond 65. Thank you, Dr. Kalpana, for the presentation. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, please. Can I have the mic here, please?
I was having some problem in seeing the screen. So I went to some specialist. He advised me laser treatment. You are having glaucoma, so it is better here. But even after 1 month, I am not finding any improvement. What may be the reason? Whether laser treatment was effective or not, I want to know.
Sir, like laser treatment, whatever they would have done.
After laser treatment, I was able to later see later. But after 1 month, same position continues.
Basically, the laser treatment, whatever they would have done for the treatment of glaucoma is to prevent the acute attacks. That is like, I said, this condition is painless, okay? So, but there is a situation called angle closure glaucoma, so which you can experience a sudden painful visual loss. This can be prevented if your opening is very narrow. They create a window using laser, so thereby the fluid circulation takes place and it prevents permanent damage to your optic nerve. But it is not directly responsible for your visual improvement. As I already said, the nerve fibers, once it has lost, is permanently lost. You cannot get back. So whatever is going to happen further is prevented.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. There's a small change in the program. I'll call upon Dr. Sundari, who will be talking to you on screening in elderly women, focus on breast and cervical cancer. She is the Professor of Gynecology and Aging at MS Ramaya Institute of Medical Sciences, Bangalore.
We'd like to thank Dr. Kalpana for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Dr. Kalpana, once again.